Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Data Sculptor. Today we are going to do the part 3 of this series. So if you have not watched the part 1 and part 2, I request all of you to watch those videos as well, as this is the continuation of those videos. So you can find those videos in the description of this video. So before we start with the questions, I request every one of you to like this video and also subscribe so that you can get more videos. So let's jump straight into the questions. So the next question is, we need to write an SQL query to fetch the count of employees working in the department sales. So we have this department column and we have the value of sales. So we need to count the number of employees working in the department sales. So first we'll write the select query, select star from worker, and where department is equal to sales. So when we write this, we get all the rows, all the workers who are belonging to the department sales. So we are getting 2 rows. So now instead of the 2 rows, we should show the value 2. So to show that, we have to use the count function, count of star as CNT. So count of star will give us the count of total workers who belong to the department sales. So this is how you write the SQL query. So the next question is, we need to write an SQL query to fetch the worker full names whose salaries are between the 50,000 and 60,000 values. So first we have to write the select query, select star from worker, and where salary between 50,000 and 60,000. So since the salary is greater than or equal to 50,000 and less than or equal to 60,000, we will use the between clause. So between 50,000 and 60,000, and if you run this statement, you will get all the workers whose salary is between 50,000 and 60,000. But we want to fetch the worker full name. So worker full name is nothing but the first name plus a space plus last name. So to get the full name, we use first underscore name plus space plus last underscore name as full name. So in this way, we get the full name of the workers who are having salary between 50,000 and 60,000. So the next question is, we need to write an SQL query to fetch the number of workers for each department in the descending order. So to fetch the number of workers for each department, we need to use the group by. So select from worker group by department, and here department comma count of star as worker underscore count, and we want the orders for each department in the descending order. So first, if we run this, you will get the count of employees for each department. So it is 2 for each department, but you want the department to be in the descending order. That means as per the alphabetical order, the first one should be sales, then HR, then finance, then like that. So we need to use the order by clause, order by department in descending order. So if you run this, if you write the query in this way, you will get the worker count of all the departments in the descending order of the departments. So the next question, you need to write an SQL query to print the details of workers who are also managers. So we have this table, new table called worker title, and in the worker title you have the worker ID and worker title, and in the worker table you have the worker ID as well. So you need to join both these tables and filter out workers who are having the worker title as manager. So that is the question. So now let's see how to solve this. So select from worker A, inner join worker underscore title B on A dot worker ID is equal to B dot worker ID, and here I will write A dot star. So A dot star will give you all the columns present in the worker table, but here we need to write workers who are managers. So here in the where condition, I'll write b dot worker title is equal to manager. So in this way, we'll get all the workers who are having the title as manager. So the next question is, write an SQL query to fetch the number of workers under each title. So initially we had found out all the employees who are having worker title manager. So now we have to find the number of workers under each title. So first I'll write the join. Select from worker A, inner join worker underscore title B on A dot worker ID is equal to B dot worker ID, and here we want the number of workers under each title. So B dot worker title comma count of 1 as worker count. So whenever you are using an aggregate function, we have to use the group by B dot worker title. So in this way we will get the number of workers under each title. So IC has 4 workers and managers are 6. So the next question is, we need to write an SQL query to show only odd rows from a table. So here we are going to print all the worker IDs all the workers who are having an odd worker ID. So select from worker. So this will give you, select star from worker will give you all the rows present in the worker table. So here I want to return only the workers who are having an worker ID as an odd number. So how do we identify whether a worker ID is odd number or not? So whenever we divide it by 2 and if the remainder is 1, then we consider it as an odd number. So where worker underscore ID mod 2 is equal to 1. So this function will give us the remainder of a division function. So when you run this, this is what you get. So you will return all the workers who are having an odd number worker ID. So the next question is, we need to write an SQL query to show only even rows from a table. So earlier we have retrieved the odd rows from a table. So earlier what I have done, we have checked if the remainder is 1 or not. So here we will check if the remainder is 0. So if the remainder is 0, then it is an even table, even ID. So 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10 are even numbers. So only the workers having an even worker ID is returned. So the next question is, you need to write an SQL query to clone a new table from another table or from an existing table. So here what I will do, we will try to clone the worker table into a new table. So we need to use the select star into statement. So select star from worker. So this will give us all the details in the worker table, and here I will write worker underscore clone. So if the table does not exist, it will copy the workers data into this worker clone table. So here if you see 10 rows are affected. So if you write select star from worker clone, you will get all the details present in the worker clone table. So these are the same values which are present in the worker table, and if you try to run this statement again, it will fail, saying the object is already present. So if you want to run this multiple times, you have to write a drop table at the first. So drop table if exists worker underscore clone. So if you run this drop table if exists, it will drop the table if it is present, and once it is dropped, and if you again run this, this will not fail because if exists clause is there. So it will drop the table only if it exists. So now if you run this, now the statement will pass. So this is how you clone a new table from an existing table. So the next question is, you need to write an SQL query to fetch the intersecting records of two tables. So here let's take the worker and the worker clone table, and we need to find the intersecting records, that is the matching records of both the tables. So there are two ways you can find the matching records. First one is using the joins. Select from worker A, inner join worker clone B on A dot worker ID is equal to B dot worker ID. So, and if you write A dot star, you will get all the workers who are present in both worker and the worker clone table. So, if you see, since it is a clone, all the records are matching. But say there might be a scenario where worker ID is same in both the tables, but the last name is changed. So, in those cases, this simple join will not work. So, in those cases, we need to use the intersect statement. So, select star from worker, intersect, select star from worker clone. So, if you write this, it will see a match in all the rows present in both the tables. So, wherever there is a match in both the tables, only those rows will be returned. So, the next question is, you need to write an SQL query to show records from one table that another table does not have. So, you should only show the data which are present in worker table but not present in the worker clone table. So, in this case, we need to use the except operator. Select star from worker, except, select star from worker underscore clone. So, if you run this, you will get all the records. So, you will get all the records that are present in worker table but not present in worker clone table. So, in this you are not getting any row because worker and worker clone table are the same. So, just to understand this clearly, I will update a few records. So, here I will keep do E1. I will change the last name for few of the workers. So, Wilson, Wilson 1, Miller, Miller 1, and now I will run this drop and create. So, I will drop the table and recreate. So, note that I have just recreated the worker table, but the worker clone table still exists the same way. So, now if I run this, we will see a change in the data. So, wherever I have changed the last name, those records started appearing here because the last name is different in both the tables. So, hope you all understood the difference between the intersect operator and the except operator.